Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another video. Tomorrow, we will see the release of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. After months of waiting, we are finally about to unveil the new Zombies story, which I am super happy to start picking apart and trying to figure out the Easter eggs and all that stuff. I will be streaming tomorrow on twitch.tv/ProjectVZR. If you guys want to check me out, I'll be doing not just zombies, but I'm also going to be looking at multiplayer and the new weapons, the new modes, pretty much everything. So go ahead and check me out tomorrow if you'd like. The link will be in the description down below. In the meantime, though, today I am going to be ranking 30 Treyarch Zombies maps. Now, I am not doing the 2 Dead Ops Arcade ones because they're kind of separate from the rest of the gameplay for traditional Zombies maps. And I'm also excluding any non-Treyarch maps. So Infinite Warfare, World War II, Ghosts if you count Extinction, and Advanced Warfare, Zombies, and all that will not be counted. This is purely Treyarch maps, the regular bare bones gameplay, nothing crazy, just Treyarch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with my number 30, which is Die Rise. Die Rise, why did they make us a map that you could die by fall damage? The only good thing that they have is the Sliquifier, which causes you to slip and fall and die of fall damage. The Who's Who perk was bad, the map design wasn't that great. There's not a lot of good things I can say about Die Rise. Moving on, number 29, Nuketown. Nuketown had random perks, which would fall from the sky, which was very unique in the sense that it changed the gameplay every time. Other than that, there's not a whole lot that goes into the story. Nothing real big was added, so there's nothing else I can really say about Nuketown. Number 28 is Voyage of Despair. The location, probably one of the coolest locations we've gotten. Fighting zombies on the Titanic. That's insane. The Easter egg was amazing. That boss fight, one of the best boss fights I've ever seen in any of the Call of Duty maps. Other than that, though, the map was huge. It got confusing. There wasn't a lot of new things that went into it besides the introduction of the Black Ops 4 HUD and gameplay. On to number 27, which is Nocturne Toten. This is an instant cult classic, first Zombies map to ever have come out over 12 years ago, and that's partly why it's up a little bit higher, but at the same time, it was the first Zombies map. There's not a lot that goes into it. You have 3 rooms, you have a mystery box, and that's about it. There's nothing else. You had the introduction of the ray gun, which has since been a staple in every Zombies map. And Nocturne Toten itself has been remade like 4 different times. But other than that, that's about it for Noct. Number 26, we have Blood of the Dead. Now, this is a remake of Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead is one of the greatest Zombies maps ever. Blood of the Dead, not so much. The location was cool. It's ripped straight from Black Ops 2's Mob of the Dead. It's got basically the same map, but with a few added areas, mainly the starting area, plus the Warden's Room, which was amazing to be able to see more of the map, see more of the lore. The ending to the Easter egg is one of the best endings I've ever seen. That ending, if you know what I'm talking about, that ending with Richtofen, I don't think we've topped that in a Easter egg cutscene at all. The Easter egg itself, not so much. It required you looking through the shield most of the time, and that's pretty much most of the gameplay was just using the astral shield, and that wasn't fun. Moving on, number 25, Verrucht. This is another classic map, which introduced the perk machines. We had Jug, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and Double Tap, the Mark 1. Those were all great things, and having 2 separate spawns was really awesome. Other than that, though, the location and the atmosphere is one of the spookiest we've seen, but there's not a lot to do in Verrückt. It's another early map, so that's why it's here at number 25. Number 24, we have Dead of the Night, which was the first DLC for Black Ops 4. The location, amazing. That haunted manor type feel, that was a really awesome location to go for. It was a beautiful map. The atmosphere was amazing. The Wonder Weapon, one of the better Wonder Weapons we've ever seen. Other than that, though, I think there was too much that they put into it. You had to deal with the zombies, you had to deal with cryptics, you had to deal with werewolves, you had the vampire zombies. It was just a lot, every little step. There was like 3 different versions to the Wonder Weapon you had to upgrade each time. There was just too much, I feel like. Beautiful map, great location, but just too much was in it. On to number 23 with Shinonuma, another instant classic from World at War. This introduced our characters for the first time, Tank Dempsey, Nikolai Belinsky, Takeo Masaki, and Dr. Edward Richtofen, who would obviously appear in most of the maps that we have talked about and will talk about. Again, introduction to Hellhounds and I think Traps were in Verrückt. I take that back. But still, Shinonuma didn't really add too much in addition, besides Hellhounds and our characters, and it started the story, but for a map as a whole, there's not a lot to do with it. Moving on to number 22, we have Zetsubo no Shima. This has a similar type feel with Dead of the Night, where there's just kind of too much in Zetsubo. There was multiple steps to get the power on, of all things, and to open up into the Pack-a-Punch. The Easter egg was not the best to do. The one good thing I can say about Zetsubo is it was a beautiful map. It was one of the best looking maps we've ever seen. And the ending for the Easter egg with Takeo was another really good Easter egg ending that we got. Very heartfelt. Other than that, though, it was a little too much. Moving on, number 21, 5 from Black Ops 1. I mean, you got to play as John F. Kennedy. What more could you want from a map? I think I rest my case. In all seriousness, though, some of definitely the most unique characters that we could play as. The location, being able to fight in the Pentagon was really cool. Two things really held it back. One being the Wonder Weapon, the Winter's Howl wasn't that good. And 2 being the Pentagon Thief. Fuck you. And goodbye. Number 20, we have Shangri-La. This was another Black Ops 1 map, DLC 3. Another very beautiful looking map, especially when you go into the Eclipse mode. It was a very awesome map. The Easter egg was fantastic. Really setting the stage for the next map, Moon, after. But there's just too many annoyances within the map. The monkeys that would steal the power-ups, not that great. The streaker zombies was super annoying. The napalm zombies, also annoying. The best thing about the map was the rides, and that's about it. Number 19, we have Revelations. This was the end of Black Ops 3, the last map for Black Ops 3, and it was pretty much a best hits album for a lot of the zombies maps. They had, parts of Kino was in it, parts of Verrückt, parts of Mob of the Dead, parts of Origins, etc. They had the Thundergun return, they had the Apothecon Servant again, which was all really cool, but that was it. It was just a mashup of a bunch of old maps put together. There wasn't anything new, really, besides the starting area and then the Pack-a-Punch area. The Easter egg wasn't that great. The boss fight was just copied straight from Shadows of Evil. There wasn't enough originality for it. Moving on, number 18, we have Transit. This was This received a lot of backlash and criticism when it first came out. This led many people to say this was the worst zombies map ever. I think in time, as it's grown, people have noticed that it wasn't as bad as we initially thought. I've gone back to it and actually had fun with it. It was a very innovative map for the time. Playing on old gen PS3 and Xbox 360, it tried to do like an open world zombies map, and this is the closest we got. Sure, the denizens were the worst thing Treyarch could have ever thought of. I don't know why they were included. The fog and the lava were very annoying, but the fact that it was a gigantic map with 5 different areas really helped it out, and it was very innovative for the time. If only we had seen it on new gen now. Number 17, we have The Giant, which was a remake of Riese from World at War. This was in Black Ops 3. It was a pretty good remake. It kept much of the same for Riese. There wasn't any major changes. It didn't break anything. It kept all the stuff we loved still. Other than that, though, I don't know. It doesn't have the same vibe as Riese. So it was just kind of... It was really cool to revisit and go back, and it added to the storyline. But that was about it. It's a solid, decent map. Number 16, we have Call of the Dead. Another celebrity crew for us today with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Michael Rooker, Danny Trejo, and Robert Englund. Man, I don't think you could get... Maybe with the exception of 5... Those were really good characters to play as for celebrity characters. Other than that, though, George Romero being a zombie was cool but annoying at the same time. So I'm indifferent to him. The fog was not the best, though, and the wonder weapons, the VR11 was garbage and was required for the Easter egg, whereas at least the sniper rifle was useful. Moving on, number 15, Classified. Again, we got to see the Ultimus crew back after 8 years or something like that. I don't remember. We hadn't seen them since Moon, and then they finally get to return in Classified in Black Ops 4. Which was technically a remake of 5, but it did it so much better than 5. First of all, no more Pentagon Thief, thank God. Second of all, it increased the map, but not too much to where it was too big of a map. It kept the core 3 floors still, but they added a little extra up top and a little extra down below, and that was it. They fixed the Winter's Howl so that it was actually a proper wonder weapon, and it worked. They had ties to the moon with the new Pack-a-Punch area, and it was wonderful. It was perfect. There's nothing else to really say about it. It was just a really good remake. Number 14, we have Buried. I don't think we will ever fight cowboy zombies ever again. I think that is the only time we will ever be in a western town fighting zombies. The idea sounds hilarious, but it worked. For whatever reason, it worked. Another one of the creepier maps, though, especially with the haunted house and the ghosts and the maze that would change every time you played. It was very, very unique map. I would love to see Buried come back in Zombies Chronicles 2. Moving on, number 13, Gorod Krovi. This was DLC 3 for Black Ops 3. We had dragons, we had Raygun Mark 3, we had flying on dragons, we had robots. It did not seem like zombies, but for whatever reason, it was different enough, but it still kept the core zombies gameplay. It wasn't like Dead of the Night, where half the time you were fighting vampires or werewolves. You were still fighting a lot of zombies, and I still felt the zombies vibe in it. And I mean, come on, flying on a dragon was fantastic. Number 12, we have Riese, the original World at War Riese map. It introduced Pack-a-Punch. It introduced the Wonder Waffle. I take that back, it was in Shinonuma, just kidding. It introduced Pack-a-Punch, though. and it really set up the story for the zombies as a whole. That was the place where it all started, and if it had ended there, it would have been upsetting, but honestly, it was a very solid map. It's such a classic, and the legacy it has made on other maps is spectacular. Number 11, we have Ancient Evil. Now, this might be a little bit of a surprise for some people. A lot of people don't care for this map. I really enjoy this, though. I think it's a very unique location, very unique story that has going for it. You have freaking Pegasus in it. I mean, that's insane. I don't know, there's just something about the map that keeps me coming back. Moving on, number 10, we have Tag the Toten, which was built upon the original Call of the Dead, which this was another remake that added more to it, but not too much where it was too big of a map and too annoying, but it was just enough that it worked. And I think Tag, although I still have mixed feelings about the ending, and that is our current ending for the Aether storyline, as a map as a whole, I still think it's a fantastic map. Moving on, number 9, you have Moon. I think there is probably not a better location, or a more unique location, I should say, for a zombies map. You are fighting on the literal moon. I don't know how much more unique you could get. And it was amazing. The Easter egg, still one of my favorites, if not my favorite Easter egg of all time. You blow up the frickin' Earth. And Richtofen had his grand scheme and everything. It was such a good map. And I think when it was remastered in Zombies Chronicles 3, in Black Ops 3 for Zombies Chronicles, I think it only got better. Number 8, we have Kino de Toten, which is another classic map, which introduced the Thunder Gun, another amazing one weapon that's definitely a staple of the zombies community. And, I mean, it's Kino. Everyone loves Kino. What more do I have to convince you guys of, It's a pretty good map. It's a good classic. Everyone remembers going high rounds, running around the stage, training zombies. Moving on, number 7, Alpha Omega. This might be another surprise for a lot of people, but Alpha Omega is probably one of the most story-heavy maps that we have gotten. Black Ops 4 as a whole wasn't the strongest Black Ops, I think we all know that. But Alpha Omega, for the first time since we had seen both Ultimus and Primus, we finally get to play as them together. You get to have Ultimus Nikolai playing with Primus Richtofen, Primus Takeo, and then Ultimus Dempsey, or whatever you want. And it was amazing. We finally got to see them interact together. We got to see a drunk Russian and an angry American interact with a not as crazy German and less honorable, Japanese soldier. It was amazing. I will say it was a little lazy for the level design. It was basically taken right from Blackout. But the story that went into it and the location, it's still Nuketown. It's another classic. Now we're hitting some heavy hitters here with these top 6. Moving into Ascension for number 6. Another great classic map. One of my favorite maps from my childhood, growing up, running around, training zombies. It had the first major Easter egg that we could actually complete, the Casimir mechanism, and it was amazing. It set the standard for all Easter eggs coming after. If I had anything bad to say about it, it'd be those damn fucking monkeys that took your perks. If we could just ignore those, it'd be a perfect map. Number 5, we have 9. Now, most people hate Black Ops 4. I could be included in that. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I think all of us can agree they did something right with 9. The location, the backstory of it, the lore, it's just... 9 was such a good map for Black Ops 4. And although Chaos storyline is very mixed, most people agree that 9 was just such a good map. It was so easy to get into, have a good match, go to round 20, 30, You could do the Easter egg if you want. The Easter egg was fun. The boss fight was fun. It's just a fun map all around. Number 4 now, we have Shadows of Evil. This was another map that was kind of mixed when it first came out, but it definitely got better as it grew. Like, I feel like more and more people have turned the Shadows of Evil as one of their top 5 maps now. When it first came out, I don't think I really cared for it, but playing it later, I'll go back on Black Ops 3. Shadows of Evil is one of my go-to picks. And the characters are all unique, another celebrity cast. The location, Mug City, is just, it's so beautiful and it's so great. The Muglas are good mini-bosses. The Easter egg was so much fun and so easy, you know? It was just, it's a good time. It's another one of those fantastic maps. Moving on to number 3, Mob of the Dead. This is another amazing, fantastic map. The characters, fantastic. Some of the best characters besides Ultimus and Primus that we've ever seen. The location, it's Alcatraz. What else could you want? I mean, it's perfect. The Easter egg was amazing. It was innovative with the new Afterlife mode. It's just a really good map. There's nothing bad I can say about it. Moving on to Der Eisendrache for number 2. Now, before I move on, I will say these top 3 are all very good maps, and I would put them anyway. But I think Der Eisendrache was the perfect mix in between Mob of the Dead and Origins. The location was amazing. It was innovative with the new Easter egg and our first boss fight, like legit boss fight. The bows, some people would say they were lazy, just kind of reprints of the staffs from Origins. I disagree. I think the staffs are better, but the bows were unique enough that they were different and easier to use, more friendly for the common zombies player. With that being said, though, I think you guys can all guess my number 1 pick is Origins. That map, as soon as it's come out, I have done the Easter egg multiple times over. I've built all the staffs, used them all. I have played it very, to the ground. I have beat that map into the ground. I love that map. The location, it's so good. The only bad thing I have to say about it is probably the mud. I wish we could get rid of the mud. But the Panzer is a great mini-boss. Another one just like Brutus, just like the Mug was. The story for the Easter egg and the setup it has for Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 is so huge. There's nothing else that can be said. With that being said, though, thank you guys for tuning in and checking out my list. Now, my list isn't the correct list, it's just my list. It's probably different than your list. Let me know down in the comments below, what's your favorite zombies map? Do you agree with me that it's Origins, or maybe you like Zetsubo, or maybe Die-Rise, and that's fine. Either way, though, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Give me a subscribe, give me a follow on Twitch. Again, link will be in the description. Until next time, I will see all you guys later. Have a good one.